Good evening. We'll call the meeting to order. This is the January 7th, 2016 meeting of the City Council. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. If I can ask everyone to please silence the electronics for the duration of the meeting. Thank you. We'll start with roll call.
Ms. Pazor. Here. Ms. Etzel. Mr. Spinks.
Present.
Mayor Abel-Osley.
Here.
Mr. Brandt.
Here.
Mr. Sternad.
Here.
Mr. Draper.
Here.
And we'll proceed with a moment of silence. Okay. We have two police officers who will take their oath of office tonight. Right down. Will they come forward? Spencer Hartman and Thomas Allen.
Oh, you guys. Been to the academy yet? Oh, good luck. Do we have just a little biographical type thing? Where are these young men from and how much education and all that good stuff?
My name's Spencer. I am from Cedar Rapids, Marion area. I went to the Marion Homeschool Assistance Program for all 12 years, and I have a 2-year AA degree in criminal justice.
My name is Thomas Allen. I'm actually from Maquoketa, Iowa. I have a 2-year associate's degree in criminal justice, and that's about it.
Thank you. The only time we ever see.
I know. Unless they're behind
Hope
you.
that's the only time you ever
What?
Unless they're behind you.
Well, speak for yourself, buddy.
Next time she meets him, she won't have to ask.
What?
Okay, next on our agenda is citizen presentations. Anyone have any comments? Please step forward and give your name and address.
My name is Jack Zumwalt, and I live at 1500 8th Street. And I'm here tonight representing the Marion Public Library Board of Trustees. And just wanted to give you a quick update and report of some things going on. As you all know, we're still in a search process for our new library director. Doug Raber is retiring in February. And we currently have 13 qualified applicants who have submitted applications so far. The applications close on the 10th of January, so pretty soon. But we've been told that sometimes they come in at the last minute. Sometimes the best applicants come in at the last minute. And so in about 2 weeks, we'll be narrowing that field down to about 6 or 7, and our search committee will be doing that. And then in about 3 weeks, we'll be doing Skype interviews with all of those people that we've narrowed it down to. And then in February 8th and 9th, we'll have on-site interviews with, I imagine, maybe 3 or 4 candidates, I think, as a target. And those will be open to the public, and we'll have public meetings for people in the community to meet the candidates and weigh in. So that's just a quick update of things going on.
When do you expect that meeting to be, the public meeting?
The public meeting, February 8th and 9th.
Okay, February 8th and 9th.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Hi, welcome. State your name and address, please.
Good evening. Mike Tope, 170 26th Street Court, Marion, Iowa. And I talked to 2 council people last week concerning this garage thing that we're discussing again tonight. I have some issues that I don't understand, because I understand the concept of having to bring stuff forward for historic value, but I don't understand how Memorial Hall was allowed to tear down a perfectly functioning fire escape, put up a balcony, a concrete platform in the historic district, and none of you had any input on it whatsoever. I don't understand that. The whole idea of this garage thing is to ensure that our historic district is maintained, but yet we let other people just come in and do as they please in that district. Especially, I don't know, but maybe you can explain to me why we don't have a fire exit up there. If I have a basement with a bedroom, I have to have egress, but now they don't have any egress at all. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Hello?
Hi. Craig Adamson, 3200 Penny Lane, Marion. I would like to respectfully request the council follow through on its previously stated intent from the last meeting of last year related to reviewing the various boards serving the city of Marion. In particular, I was hoping that the council would consider adopting a protocol to guide how board members are identified, selected, appointed, and removed as part of this review. I believe it would be helpful for future city councils if it was a process that was also documented. I see the mayoral appointments as a privilege that goes along with the office of anyone who is elected to that position. But I do not respect the passive-aggressive way that our previous mayor decided to handle appointments, reappointments, and removals prior to leaving office. Not meeting with the incoming mayor, city manager, or even department heads to discuss the needs of the individual boards, the current memberships and the potential candidates before putting forward appointments is counterproductive to the city's business. Historically, it's been a courtesy that when the mayor wished to appoint someone, the appointment coincided with a vacancy or a planned resignation. While I'm not aware of any forced removals of board members, presumably the mayor and the department head would have discussed this ahead of time as well and hopefully addressed the situation of that soon-to-be former board member. Since I do believe that the mayor should continue to have this privilege, it is not my intent to encourage the council to take that privilege away due to the actions of one bad apple. There are a lot of talented residents who are willing to give their time and expertise to help out when asked, and they have done so willingly and at a very low salary. From what I've seen, it's free. However, when a sitting mayor has a change of heart due to settling political scores or because it's Thursday or for any other reason, I believe that mayor has the duty to inform the board member in question that their service is no longer wanted or needed. Additionally, the council should also be made aware of the situation so that they can show support for the mayor by removing that person and appointing a new member. This would ideally be done 2 to 4 weeks in advance of the vote, instead of not saying anything to anyone, adding the new appointment to the agenda just prior to the meeting, and then hoping to slip one past the goalie. Another idea to consider is whether the mayor has met with the person they are appointing and knows their personality, character, and abilities. Recently, several people were listed as appointments, and when questioned, apparently the mayor didn't necessarily know who that person was or couldn't even make a simple case to demonstrate the merits of their nomination. Lastly, based on personal experience, when a board member is asked if they would like to continue to serve and they say yes, it seems like if the mayor wanted to only reappoint one of the 2 board members, in this case the Public Services Board, that they would put that person's name in for reappointment and then recommend a new appointee to replace the other person who is not to be reappointed, instead of listing a single name that presumably would cover 2 people instead of 1. From my perspective, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. Please consider developing a written protocol as part of your board's review with an eye towards adopting this approach before the end of 2016. So the mayor, council, board members, and prospective board members would know more what to expect during the process. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on with the rest of the agenda. Councilman Draper?
Yes, Your Honor. I move approval of the consent agenda, which would be items number 1 through 25, resolution number 25038 to 25048. So moved approval.
Your Honor. Yes. Okay.
Your Honor, I would eliminate then item number 22. Be acted on separately. Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the consent calendar, items numbers 1 through 25, except for 22, which is resolution number 25048. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, say aye or no. Okay, the motion passes.
Okay, Your Honor, I move to approve the,
Got to do 22.
Should we
I'm
deal with
sorry.
number 22 first?
I was
Okay,
just-
it's okay. Thanks.
It's okay.
Paul, do you want to make the motion for 22?
Number 22 is Resolution 25,048, authorizing the submittal of a grant application to the Corridor Metropolitan Planning Organization for Regional Transportation Funds in the amount of $2,829,600 and committing to provide local matching funds contingent upon the award and acceptance of the Transportation Grant Fund on 10th Avenue, Paz.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 25048, authorizing the submittal of a grant application to the Corridor Metropolitan Planning Organization for regional transportation funds in the amount of $2,829,600 and committing to provide local matching funds. Any discussion? Yes, Tom.
If I could just provide a little update. The number on this has changed a little bit, and I just want to give a little background on that so the council's aware of it. As you can see in the resolution and from Tuesday, the amount has actually went down, but I want to be clear that that has not made the project cost go down. What had occurred is that we did not have the engineering included in the original estimate, so we went back and doing our final analysis and found that we needed to add that back in. And the project cost actually went up, and then in conversation with how we should proceed with the resolution, we need to make sure that we're authorizing the grant submittal for the amount that we're going to be requesting from the CMPO as a project, not the total cost, because there's a 20% match in the previous cost. So all that being said, the total project cost went from 2.8 to about 3.5, and this reflects the 20% or the 80% of the project cost. When the project comes on board, the estimated amount is that the city's going to be responsible is $700,000. So I just wanted that to be clear for the council and that there's no confusion on that. If there is, just let me know. But
this number for the grant is correct.
Yep.
Your Honor.
Any other discussion?
Well, what I was trying to ask on Tuesday was, the CMPO does their own funding for some projects. They give money out. Is that included in this amount of money, or is this only the federal grant?
This is only the federal dollars that are specifically identified for transportation improvements. They do have a fund that they do studies for, and they do a lot of planning. Not a lot, but occasionally they'll do a planning study. And I think in the upcoming years they're going to be doing a transit study in terms as well. So.
Well, that's what I was asking though. Is there are they putting any money into that to help us with this? That's what I was trying to get out to you.
Yeah, no, these are pass-through dollars, so dollars that are provided to the region, and then we apply for them, and they're distributed. They're just kind of managed by the CMPO.
Yeah.
Yep.
Would there be possible for them to, or make a request for them to give some funding?
Generally, on these projects, these are the pass-through dollars. They have to request the federal dollars for their planning side, just like we have to request our dollars for the transportation side. There's a portion of that money that can be set aside for planning. So the dollars that they have to be specifically identified outside of staff time and as well. So that's why most of the projects that they implement are a plan or a study that would support the region. So that wouldn't be something that they would have done in the past or would be able to do, really. But it's you always got to look for money.
Right.
I agree.
Well, thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Sorry for the misunderstanding Tuesday.
Oh, no problem.
Okay, any other discussion?
Yeah, I would like to prognosticate the possibility of funding still being available, this being an election year and all, and what is going to be available and what is somebody going to say, oh, nope, no more.
Yeah.
And of course, there's no way you can foretell that, but maybe it would be not a bad idea to back off on some of this stuff.
Well, if I can address that, I mean, the only thing we're committing to is that if the project is funded in 3 years from now, that we would provide the match for the dollars. That's what we're saying.
I know that they can't cancel, but we can pay things off more quickly than a bond issue, for example, is set for 10 years, 12 years, 15, whatever, and that can be paid down. But the people that are providing the bucks can't cancel out their stuff. But it maybe just kind of be a little more choosy about some of the stuff that we're getting money for, because I would hate to have to exceed the bond limit that we're at right now. It's not necessarily this item, it's...
Sure. Okay, I understand.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Okay, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor of resolution number 25048, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no.
Now?
The motion passes.
Now?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, I move to approve the following liquor license applications. Chibo's, and with, they've had one violation in the past 5 years. And approve resolution 25,049, approving partial payment number 11 to Martin Gardner Architecture for public service facility design services in the amount of $2,405.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded to approve the renewal of a liquor license for Chibo Fusion Restaurant and approve resolution number 25049, partial payment to Martin Gardner Architecture. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. And I abstain. Okay. Councilman Etzel.
Resolution number 25050, approving contract and partial payment number 1 with Interstate Power and Light Company, Alliant Energy, for the 2016 Imagine Art in the Alley project in the amount of $53,398.24.
Second.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded, moved by Councilwoman Etzel and seconded by Councilwoman Pazur, to approve resolution number 25050, partial payment to Interstate Power and Light Company. Any discussion?
I guess from what we talked about Tuesday, is this the full underground burial?
Yeah, this is everything that has to do with Alliant. So this will take care of the 3 poles that we're burying, and then all the transmission lines for Alliant. And the consent agenda was for MediaCom, which was a separate payment, and then there's IMON that'll be in the future.
I guess this is the full, from the
From the
feeders
utility
to the
companies.
buildings and everything. Is that correct?
So there's a pole that is north of the north-south alley. That pole will remain. Everything from that point south will be buried.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor of resolution number 25050, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. And I abstain on this one too.
Yes, Your Honor, I move to approve ordinance number 15-25, establishing access fees related to the Irish Drive improvements, our second consideration.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve ordinance number 15-25, establishing access fees for Irish Drive improvements. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no.
Your Honor, I move to suspend the rules and place this for final consideration.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to suspend the rules and move this to final consideration. Any discussion? All those in favor of suspending the rules say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Okay, so now we'll vote on final consideration? Or, okay, so, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so we'll vote on the final consideration of this ordinance. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Thank you. The ordinance is approved. Okay, next we have a public hearing regarding the 2016 sidewalk ramp repair project. The public hearing is now open. Okay.
Would you like a staff report?
Can we have a staff report, please? Thank you.
So this is our annual sidewalk ramp repair project that we have to do as part of our ADA transition plan. So this takes basically HMA overlay areas that we need to make the ramps compliant, or areas that are just dangerous. Maybe they don't even have a curb drop, so we're taking the curb out and actually putting a ramp in there. So we're going to be replacing about 500 square foot of sidewalk and ramps. We received 5 seal bids on the 29th of December with a low bid of $78,090.50, which was received by Midwest Concrete at 96.1% of the engineer's estimate. Work is specified to begin no later than May 2nd, 2016, and be completed within 50 working days with $300 per day in liquidated damages.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak against this measure? Please step forward. Anyone who wishes to speak in favor of this measure? Please step forward. Okay, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing.
Your Honor, I move to approve resolution number 25051, accepting bids and awarding contract to Midwest Concrete Incorporated regarding the 2016 sidewalk ramp repair project in the amount of $78,090.50.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 25051, accepting the bids and awarding contract to Midwest Concrete, Inc. for the 2016 sidewalk repair project. Any discussion?
What is their history as far as reliability, et cetera?
They did the sidewalk assessment project and one of the ramp projects last year.
Okay, so we have worked with them before.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor of resolution number 25051, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. Resolution passes. We have another public hearing now for the 2016 Imagine Art in the Alley project. We'll open the public hearing. Is there a staff report on this?
Yep, so this is the Art in the Alley project, which is the east-west alley between 10th and 11th and the north-south alley between 7th and 8th Avenues. We received 3 sealed bids on the 22nd of December. We had a low bid of $343,468.15. That was from Central States Concrete, LLC, at 105.6% of the engineer's estimate, and that does include the alternate bid. Work shall be completed by October 28th, 2016, and there's $1,500 per day, per calendar day in excess of that schedule.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak against this measure? Okay, anyone who wishes to speak in favor of this measure, please step forward. Okay, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing.
Your Honor, I move to approve resolution number 25052, accepting bids and awarding contract to Central States Concrete, LLC regarding the 2016 Imagine Art in the Alley project in the amount of $343,468.15.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 25052, accepting the bids and awarding contract to Central States Concrete, LLC for the 2016 Imagine Art in the Alley project. Discussion?
Now, this does not include the $350,000 that was received on that grant. This is in addition. Correct?
So there is city funding that was part of this project that was allocated, and then there's the grant money that we received, the $350,000, and there's private donations that have been accepted as well. So all 3 of those are all revenue for paying this project. A portion of what we're doing, this is considered what I would call the infrastructure project, so this is actually taking the concrete in the alley and improving it. A portion of this project is considered art. We're actually building the foundations for the art sculptures. We're putting in some retaining walls. There's some lighting going in. So a portion of that grant will pay for this. But the majority of this is coming out of the city funds.
Now, we know that, but there's a lot of people here who don't come to the Tuesday meetings who don't know, and they're saying, what are you know, where'd they get this $350,000? And then so this is, I just want to clarify.
Thank you.
Mike, you have on here that it completed by the 28th. Is that of October? Is that, I thought we had given them more time than that.
No, that was that gives them a full construction season to build that project. It was the ramp project that was 50 working days. This is the entire construction season, but we have to make sure that we spend all of the money by the end of the year, because that's where the $350 grant came from.
Okay.
And so by making them complete their portion by October, that gives the artists time to put their sculptures up so that we can pay them before the year's done.
I just wondered if that would have lowered got us under the 100% engineer estimate if we'd given them more time.
I don't think so. I mean, you can tell, for those of you that don't know, we bid this last time and it was $700,000. So, I mean, bidding it in April versus December, I mean, there you can see a big difference between the two.
Yeah, I just wondered if a little more time would have helped, but,
Yeah, I don't know that. Then you start getting into the point where, let's say we have an early winter, and now we're covering concrete and stuff like that, and then it doesn't last as long. We're getting close to the breaking point there.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor of resolution number 25052, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. Resolution passes. Councilman Draper?
Yes, Your Honor. I make a motion to remove from the table Resolution 25,037, approving the partial demolition request regarding property at 1190 9th Avenue within the Terrace Park National Register Historic District, McGuire Construction, Inc. It was tabled on December 17th of 15.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to remove from the table resolution number 25037, approving the partial demolition request for property at 1190 9th Avenue. Any discussion?
Your Honor, I would like to say I appreciate the efforts. I had tabled this originally concerning National Registry property and districts, and it's been researched, and we found that this property is not on the National Registry but in the district, and the partial demolition and reconstruction is not a problem as far as the state or the federal government is concerned.
Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor of removing this motion from the table, the resolution 25037 from the table, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. Okay.
Ready? Okay. Your Honor, I move to approve Resolution 25,037, approving the partial demolition request of a structure located at 1190 9th Avenue within the Terrace Park National Register Historic District, and this will be done by McGuire Construction, Inc.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 25037, approving the partial demolition request of the structure at 1190 9th Avenue. Discussion? Okay, all those in favor of resolution number 25037, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no.
Your Honor, I have to respectfully abstain from this vote.
Okay, we have one abstention.
Motion to receive and file correspondence requesting a development agreement extension for property located at 1000 7th Avenue, Capital Commercial Division, LLC.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to receive and file correspondence requesting a development agreement extension for property located at 1000 7th Avenue. Discussion?
I received a phone call and assuring me that the items that have been on order, and it's been acknowledged that these items were ordered and all, but they just haven't come in yet, and that's the holdup.
I got a call. I wonder if the person that called us was out.
I think she is.
Yes. Would it be okay if she gave a report, Your Honor?
I would suggest go ahead and act on the receive and file, and then.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Let's receive and
Yes,
file the
yes.
correspondence.
I'm
and then
sorry.
We have the resolution next. So
All right.
we can,
I always get ahead of myself.
that's okay. Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor of this motion to receive and file the correspondence regarding 1007th Avenue, please say aye.
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 All those opposed, please say no. Okay.
Now, Your Honor, I move to approve Resolution 25053, granting an extension agreement for property located at 1007th Avenue, a Capital Commercial Division LLC request. Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 25053, granting an extension agreement for property located at 1007th Avenue.
And Mayor, I would ask that while you may want to have Ms. Yamas make a presentation, I would like to table this to the next city council meeting. She had submitted an extension agreement that she had actually already pre-signed. I did have our TIF attorney review that. He sent me back a draft of what he would like to see in it. I haven't even had a chance to provide that to Capital Commercial for their review yet. So council hasn't seen it. The company hasn't seen it. I don't think it should be acted on until everybody has a chance to review it. But she's here, so if you would like to hear an update on the project, I think that would be fine.
Would you like to address the council? Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor and Council. My name is Jody Siamis. I am the owner of Capital Commercial Division. My address is located at 1649 Weekland Lane in Marion, Iowa. As relates specifically to the Owen Block project, 1007th Avenue in Marion, that project is coming along smoothly. The cornices were ordered from Pennsylvania. They had to be approved through the State Historical Preservation Society, and that approval occurred in November of 2015. At that point, we could actually order the cornices, and those cornices were fabricated and being shipped from Pennsylvania. Unfortunately, we could not meet our deadline of December 31st due to just shipping and fabrication manufacturing. I can assure you, both from the manufacturer and from our paid receipts, that those items have been ordered. In addition, we are increasing the windows on the residential level. All of the interior windows have been basically restructured, so we'll be able to place the exterior windows in as soon as they arrive, and those are coming from Light Windows. And that documentation has been provided to the city. Do you have any other
on
questions?
the cornices as well?
Yes.
The documentation, we have that, all that on?
Yeah, that
The orders.
actually came in with the request for the extension agreement.
Okay. Any questions?
I'd just like to compliment him. The corner really looks nice now, and I know that we don't know where the sidewalk's going to be, but so there'll be a more permanent type steps, but looks good. Plus, the Maid-Right's got a 30th anniversary Joe coming up, and that's real important to me because I have from Tom and Ellie a free Maid-Right thing that I got 30 years ago that I've been saving for 30 years. So I plan to use it at that open house.
So the steps are not permanent?
The
wood
steps in
steps?
right now are grain-treated temporary steps. We're working with the building zoning department officials to make sure that what we're going to put is compliant with both what we need to do as well as what they're doing with their sidewalk improvements. So we're coordinating those efforts currently.
Sidewalk could be higher or could be lower on that corner. So
Okay.
they couldn't put a permanent step in there at this point.
But eventually it'll be a different material?
Eventually, the structure will be concrete.
Okay.
But we're going to have a little bit of a weather delay, so that's not necessarily part of the TIF agreement that I understand, but that will be part of our
Okay,
occupancy.
so just so I understand, that the windows are still going to be replaced,
Yep, the windows are still being in place. Those are already ordered.
and the cornices are ordered, and they'll be put up?
Correct.
Okay, what else is going to be done there?
Tuck pointing's continuing. There's been some tuck pointing done, and they were working throughout this week, but there's been some weather delays, obviously, and next week will be a little bit delayed.
So there is tuck pointing work going on?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And the back is not part of our development agreement, but we're improving the back as well, just to complement the alley program. I think that anything we can bring to the back will just improve Marion as well.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Lon, how long did you want to delay this till?
We should be ready by the next council meeting.
Okay.
You're going to move to table?
Yeah, you want me, I just, for resolution 25053, we would like to table this until the next meeting, which I can't read that. It's, must be the 21st of January. And Paul, I thought you said instead of a coupon, I thought you had a tenderloin saved from 30 years ago.
It's a nice little coupon he gave out when he opened, so. I think it was worth 30 cents then, and now, Lord knows, it could be worth $10. I don't know.
Oh, well, you...
Interest is high, you know.
Who seconded that?
I did.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded that we table resolution number 25053 until the next city council meeting. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those opposed, please say no. Okay.
Your Honor, I move to approve resolution number 25054, approving a right-of-way purchase agreement for Winslow Road.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 25054, approving a right-of-way purchase agreement for Winslow Road. Any discussion? None? Okay. All those in favor of resolution number 25054, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. Motion passes.
Your Honor, I move to approve resolution number 25055, approving contract and bond for the downtown facade revitalization program in the amount of $264,524.68.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 25055, approving contract and bond for the downtown facade revitalization program. Any discussion?
Yes, sir. Rumor has it that the push for all this development off Tower Terrace Road will become the new Marion. If that is in fact the case, why is so much money being spent downtown here?
You want me to address that?
Yes.
One of the things that we looked at shortly after I arrived was developing an overall economic development strategy for Marion. I was brought in specifically because of my background and experience with that. There was a sense amongst the group that hired me that Marion needed to do something to jumpstart our commercial and industrial development. As I started to really study the situation, one of the things that became apparent was that yes, Tower Terrace Road was going to be a significant new commercial corridor for the community. The problem was that you didn't want to have Tower Terrace Road come online and have that immediately turn around and devastate the downtown. We needed to make sure that the community made investments into the central corridor area to keep it competitive and make sure that when Tower Terrace starts to see significant development, that it's complementary to and in addition to the central corridor development and not at the expense of the central corridor. If we had simply left well enough alone with all of the brownfield issues, transportation issues, traffic accident rates, and everything that were happening along the central corridor area, when Tower Terrace Road came online, we were really at risk for having the central corridor turn into a ghost town. It's always going to be cheaper and easier to go out and build on a greenfield when you don't have to tear down a building and you don't have to deal with environmental contamination. In most cases, the private sector may step in and do that, but they won't do it until the area completely bottoms out, which is that point at which it becomes a ghost town. And so that's one of the main reasons why the city has made such a significant investment in this area. It's to make sure that it is competitive going forward. Otherwise, as Tower Terrace Road continues to develop out, people will go for the place where it's easy to build rather than the place where it's historic to build.
And our downtown is such a part of the character of what our community is. We want to make sure that it survives and it thrives.
Well, it survived for 175 years, and it just kind of seems kind of tacky to just say, "Oh, pooey,"
Right.
Just
well,
let go.
this project. How many buildings in total?
There's 7 different properties.
7 properties are going to have their facades redone, brought back to their original state, and
Is it possible to mention anything about the Irwin's property being sold? I noticed there's a sold sign on it. Does that want to be addressed now too, since we're talking about downtown Marion?
I haven't gotten an update on that one recently, so I'm not
There's
sure.
a sold sign in the window.
Okay, I didn't see that.
I think
if
Your
you
Honor,
look at
Yes.
on behalf of a person who believes that we look to the past for our future, historically, our downtown is a pretty important area. And it states our past and our future. And owning a building of the age of many of those, I know what it's required to keep them in the shape they bring them back to the splendor they once had. So I think if money can become available from some source to do that, whoever owns those properties, it certainly will pay us in the long run to have a downtown, that uptown they prefer to call it today, that looks like it should. You know, I mean, we have, Hiawatha has no town because they don't have an uptown, or a downtown, as some of us older guys call it still. So I think it's really important that the future of our community is in that uptown area.
And we see other cities trying to create what we have.
Absolutely.
You know, so we want to preserve that and make sure that it stays vibrant.
I think a city like Cedar Falls, you know, they went through and completely redid their downtown, but they've got that whole strip, I think that's University Avenue or whatever that is, where all the development is gone, but yet they went in and completely did their uptown.
You know, it costs a lot more money, as Jody could tell you, to take an old building and bring it up to date. I know you don't go to Menards and buy windows. I didn't go to Menards and buy a door. I went to South Carolina and had one made. So it takes a lot to keep a building that was built in 1856 usable today and in the future, and I commend people who do it because it's not an easy job.
Okay? Are we ready to vote on the resolution? All those in favor of resolution number 25055, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. Okay, motion
Go
passes.
along with that, Your Honor, Resolution 25,056, and approving an amendment to a contract for community development block grant services to East Central Iowa Central of Governments regarding the downtown facade revitalization program, and an additional amount not to exceed $14,517.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 25056, approving an amendment to the contract for community development block grant services with East Central Iowa Council of Governments. Any discussion? None?
Report.
Is there anything to report on this?
East Central Iowa Council of Governments is administering the CDBG grant for this program. We have had the program extended for several reasons, one of them being the alley project, having to work with the two together, and so that's increased the amount of administration required. We did have a change in leadership in Uptown Marion, and so that did stall the project for several months when we were replacing the director, and then we did have several properties change hands, so some dropped out, some were brought back in, which then this estimate of $14,517, it won't exceed that. The city did allot $250,000 for this project total. Even with this $14,517 included, that still only uses 74% of that total allotment, so we're under budget.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Amanda or any discussion? Okay, we'll move to vote. All those in favor of resolution number 25056, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no.
Motion passed.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Your Honor, I move to approve Resolution 25,057, authorizing the execution of a contract regarding the conversion of payroll data for the New World software.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 25057, authorizing the execution of a contract regarding the conversion of payroll data for the New World software. Any discussion?
Are we far enough into the new software that we could back out of that and find something that is compatible?
We had a pretty significant and lengthy discussion about that, about whether or not that would be an option for us. Unfortunately, the one company that would be the alternative is now the new owner of New World Software. Tyler Technologies has purchased New World Software. They were the other finalists that we had looked at, so it's kind of give the devil his due in one place or do it in another one. This contract is actually not with New World Software. This would be with a group called Owen Lewis Consulting, who specializes in doing data conversion. They have significant experience working with the New World software. Believe me, this was not something that I was excited about bringing to the council because it's such a cliche to get into a software conversion project and find out that you missed something that ends up costing a lot more money. But in this case, I don't think that was really what happened. I mean, we were trying to bring it in knowing that there was going to be some sticker shock with the software conversion already and trying to take on as much as we could internally to bring that initial cost down. So I think we just kind of bit off as we got into what it was actually going to take to do it. We found that we had bit off a little bit more than we could chew, and that in order to keep it on time and on task, this was our best alternative. It would have been something that we could have brought forward initially. We were just trying to save some money up front by doing more of it in-house, and it's turned out that we're not going to be able to do that and keep the project moving along. I would say that there's another piece to this. As I briefed the council on Tuesday, there's the payroll side, and then there's also the utility data conversion side. This covers the payroll side of it. The utility conversion side of it will be handled by a separate contract with the water department, and we will reimburse the water department for our share on that, so there won't be a second contract on that.
My other question on that line was, should we put a maximum that we would pay out for doing this? I mean, it's kind of an open book, right?
This one, the contract is written as scope of services with the expectation that they will complete everything that's included in the contract. So if there's anything else, if they ran into something, they would have to make a specific request for additional hours, and that would have to come back to the city council. But the contract is intended to get us from point A to point Z and be all-inclusive. Okay. The only thing that would be outside of what's specified in there now is there's some travel expenses that would be where we'd reimburse for actual expenses, but other than one trip where they would need to come out, we're pretty much in control of that, depending on how many times we would ask them to come back.
Okay.
Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor of approving resolution number 25057, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. Motion passes.
Okay, Your Honor, motion to remove from the table the following mayoral appointments, tabled 12-17-15.
Second.
I think were we going to take all these and do them later?
Yeah, there has been so much confusion on all of this and how it's done, and some people that were nominated hadn't filled out applications. Some people, we weren't sure if some people wanted to be on the committees. I'd like to just hold off on this just so we make sure we're doing this the right way. I'd like to actually see what all the vacancies are, who all the potential applicants are, talk to them, and try to do this in a way that makes sense. And the people whose terms are ending, find out if they want to stay on the committees. Just look at the full picture, because I think there's been a lot of confusion.
Your Honor,
so then,
I really wonder if maybe we should consider term limits on committee members. I think sometimes when you get on a committee, I'm going to pick on parks, for example. Sorry, Mike. And you get a group of people, and they know the way you think, and you know the way they think, and it's pretty much a done deal before any discussion or anything gets done. And maybe there's a little bit too much agreement instead of sometimes having a little controversy. Just my opinion.
Well, it's something we could consider. I mean,
Was there a second on that motion?
Yeah.
So then
there was a second.
Yeah, in that case, for what you're suggesting there, you would want to vote down the motion to remove from the table. And since you do have a new appointment or a reappointment down there on item number 9, you would want to then table that one as well. I think the mayoral appointment of number 10 is a council member being appointed to a committee, and that was just discussed on Tuesday, so I don't think there would be a need to table that one.
But if you're looking to rethink all of this, do we
So,
vote down number 8, untable it,
Well-
and vote it down, and then you
No.
start over?
we could,
vote no on 7.
you could do it that way, or you could just vote down motion, the motion, and then we wouldn't deal with 8 for now. But
That's
I
up
see
to the
what- I see
council.
what
You
you're
can
saying.
handle it either way.
Pardon?
That's up to the council. You can handle it either way.
Okay, I mean,
What do you want to do?
Just confused things, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
well, we'll go ahead and vote on this motion.
Are we voting to, do we want to keep it tabled?
So this is the motion to remove it from the table. So if you don't want it removed from the table, then you would vote no. All those in favor of the motion to remove from the table the mayoral appointments of Steve Mosier, Clark Weaver, and Mike Dooley, say aye. All those opposed, say no.
No.
Okay.
Then you
And that
move on to
makes
number 9.
8 moot. And then we move to number 9,
So,
which
Your
we
Honor,
would want to table that.
I will make a motion to table item 9, the mayor reappointment for Tim Moody for the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to table the mayoral reappointment of Tim Mooney for Planning and Zoning Commission.
Yeah.
Discussion?
Is he our only applicant? I mean, why are we?
I don't know.
Well, there's that letter from Steve Mosier in here.
Yeah, we have, that's true. We have, okay, I got you.
Okay.
There's only one spot.
One
in the
spot
zone.
open.
position.
Okay.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of tabling this reappointment, say aye.
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 All those opposed, say no.
No.
Who was that? Okay.
Your Honor, I make a motion to approve the mayoral appointment for Mr. Brandt, who gracefully agreed to, or Brandt to do the Sidewalk Advisory Committee.
Is he the only no vote?
Is there a second?
Second?
It's been moved and seconded to appoint Will Brandt to the Sidewalk Advisory Committee. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor of the appointment, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no.
Abstain.
One abstention. Okay, council discussion time.
You're going to let me go first. Good.
Ma'am.
A while back, I read a declaration that I didn't put down what the source was. It seems that an awful lot of things have been decided by committee, and there have been too many items that I've never seen. And I know that the city manager was not here, and there were a couple other council members that were at, but the council is the governing body of the city. The city manager is its agent in carrying out the policies established by council and ensuring that all departments operate efficiently and economically. And I think that we have been bypassed too much of the time, so that when somebody says, well, I hear they're going to close 16th Street, I don't remember closing 16th Street. And it just, I think sometimes this term of shadow government is maybe true. I don't know. That's all I have today.
Wow. I noticed that they published the State of the City address. It's coming up, and it's not on a Saturday as it was originally posted. That's why I wanted to say it was originally like the 23rd, which was a Saturday. I think it's the 26th now. So the 26th is the right date for the State of the City address, and it's at the Long Branch still. So I'm glad. I was like, Saturday, really?
You got something against Saturday? You got something against Saturday?
Help.
All I have is thank you everybody for coming, and thank you for your patience with me as I figure out the logistics of this job. So thank you very much.
Oh, yeah. I've always
You know he does.
First of all, I'd like to say, and I'm glad folks come. I'm glad they're at the meeting. I hope they express their feelings and desires to us. We're in a year of a new opportunity. We have a new mayor, some new council folks, and the rest of us continue to learn. And we'll try hard. We're going to do some things you don't like, I'm sure. We do some things we don't like at times, but the people that put us here for a reason, and we're going to work hard towards that, and I know our mayor is, and it's going to be a great time, I think. Mayor Nick, I think we're all on the right track and team, and it's going to work. That in mind, I do have something I'd like to follow up from Tuesday night's meeting. I left the meeting Tuesday night a little bit bruised, which is not easy to do to Paul Draper. And it was done by Nick, and Nick isn't here, so I won't pick on him. But I spoke at Tuesday night's meeting about an incident that's occurred in Cedar Rapids with the Berthel Fisher building out here, and us losing a probable tenant who we had abided by all the rules in offering, and Cedar Rapids taking that tenant and paying them a lot of money. And the reason I spoke at that meeting, because we have a non-piracy agreement with the city of Cedar Rapids, and a non-compete agreement to me in my previous life is a pretty important agreement. It's something you learn to live by and agree to. And I have my problem, and the reason I stood that evening was to speak for that one contract. And there have now been 4 articles in the newspaper, the suburb of our west, concerning that item. None of them, including ours, have mentioned a non-compete agreement. And that's the only reason I stood or sat to speak that night, is that I think it's a very valuable agreement. This council approved it, Lon initiated it, and it's an agreement that says Cedar Rapids, Hiawatha, or Cedar Rapids is not going to do what they've just done. And I have a great deal of problem with that. Now, Medco is doing their job, the city is doing their job, and by God, I need to do my job. And I have a great deal of problem if we have agreements that aren't being taken care of the way they should be, signed in good faith. And with that in mind, I was asked by Medco to give this time because Cedar Rapids hasn't approved the final approach, which includes $500,000 to that company. If you ran that company, what would you do if somebody offered you $500,000 to go to a new building somewhere? That's in violation of the agreement. And because we have a couple new council folks that haven't been part of that agreement, and because I was asked by Medco to allow some time on it, I'm a patient person, and I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to do that until April 7th. April 7th follows April Fool's Day, which is kind of important. But on April 7th, in a position I do hold on this council, I would ask our staff, Lon, to bring forth a copy of this non-compete agreement to this council and all other agreements we have with the city of Cedar Rapids. Because in my opinion, they violated this one, and we got to make sure they're not violating the other ones. It's not popular. I'm not trying to start a war with our city to the west, but by God, they need to obey by what we're doing because we do. And that's all I have this evening, and thank you, Mayor and Council. And that would, incidentally, I announced a disclaimer like they do on the radio. That may not be the opinion of the rest of this council or management, but it is my opinion, and this is the only place that I can voice it. I don't have the liberty of doing it any other way, and it's the only way I know how to do it, and there it is. Thank you.
Thank you. This concludes the meeting. Meeting is adjourned.